Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to this call for the first online business studio event for the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Anna Buckaloo, president of the Chamber, and so glad to have you all with us this morning. We have a very special guest, and I will introduce Dr. Kevin Elko in just a moment. I want to share with you, I hope you're getting all the information that the Chamber has been sharing on much of the technical aspects of what is our new now normal right now, given the COVID-19 situation. A lot of that information is technical in nature. It's resources you need right now, and we will continue to do a very good job of sharing that with you, staying in touch with our federal regulators, congressional delegation, making sure you have the latest interpretations of what you need to know. But this morning's not about the technical. This morning is more about a touchstone. And when we thought of a touchstone to help us recenter a little bit and think about leadership in these trying times, the first person that came to our mind was Dr. Kevin Elko. Dr. Elko is a nationally known speaker, author, motivational coach. Of course, he's a favored son of the state of Alabama. I feel like we know him well. He's been in our community here in Montgomery many times. And I want to welcome him this morning. And Dr. Elko, we're looking forward to sharing with you this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I was having some problem being muted. Can you guys all give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me pretty good out there? All right. Thank you. Well, you know what I think of all of you in Alabama. So thanks so much for having me. I'm thinking about all of you guys, surely praying for all of you guys. Let me lay out what we're going to do today. And let me lay out exactly what we're going to go over today and what we're going to address. First of all, I'm going to first go over how if I'm going to be a leader, I've got to get command of me. If I'm going to be a leader, I've got to first lead me. I've got to get command of the things that I've got to say to me. I've got to get command of the things that I've got to address with me. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to get command of me. And I'm going to do that that's our first step. My first step is I've got to get command of me. And I can't lead anyone until, first of all, I've taken control. So that's where leadership's going to start. We're going to get into that first, just laying out what we're going to do today. And I have to make sure that I'm in the proper mindset. We'll go into mindset. What is a mindset? If I have a croquet set, here's a set of clubs or a set of balls. This is my set. I have it laid out to go play this game. If I have a dinette set, this is the things I have in my dinette to serve food. You need to have a thinking mental set, a mindset, the way I'm going to think for the next 30 days. So the first thing we're going to go into is you getting control of you. You being able to be somebody who says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and be able to take command of who and what I am and where I am. Next, it's very important to look at the whole concept of identity. Speak to the Crimson Tide a lot about identity. And who and what we are during these times will come out. And so we have to say, who exactly am I? What am I? What's my identity through this? We're talking about what most people's identity is these days. And the kind of identity you want to be exceptional, to be totally different, to be somebody that's on top of their game. So we're going to get into identity. Then, when I work with the Crimson Tide, we have what's called a language. There's a way that we speak. There's a way that we talk. There's a way that we think. And Coach Saban speaks it all the time. I want you and your company to get a language that we're speaking, as I set the objectives for this talk, for the next 30 days. Here's how I'm going to talk. Here's how I'm going to speak out loud. And incidentally, our spoken words are powerful. Even the way I'm going to speak out loud, how I'm going to talk to me and how we're going to talk around this, you know. And I see Anna has a whiteboard. A lot of people I talk to have the things I'm going to give you language written. And to have those things that you're constantly putting in your head. Our heads are very plastic. Our brain's shaped constantly. And unfortunately, from all the information around us, a lot of the times right now, we're focused and we're addressed of panic because it's constantly in our head. And I'm going to teach you how we stay out of panic and what we do here, how to panic proof your company, how to panic proof your business. And the most powerful thing we can do is connection. We're going to talk a lot about connection here. You got to connect with people. And it's a time where we can go ahead and keep connecting with one another during this time. I want you to do those things. So just setting the objective today. I tell all coaches, set the objective before you walk on that field. So we're going to take a minute, set the objective. And so the objective is going to be, first, I've got to get command of me. First, I'm going to get good command of me. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what are the proper emotions here. Then I'm going to talk about what your identity is. And I'm going to talk about leadership, not just external leadership with your clients, but internal leadership. How do we lead within? How do we keep everybody reinforced in what our culture is? Then we're going to go to a language, and I want you with your people, internally and external, to speak a language that keeps you focused. And the final thing we're going to get into today is connection, connection, connection. Now, we have an epidemic going on. Let's start. Let's start with you. We have an epidemic going on. A contagious epidemic. It's called uncertainty. And really, it's kind of a myth that we have certainty anyway. You know, we really don't have much certainty. I saw some of my friends on here from State Farm. Why do we need people like State Farm? We need them desperately because there really isn't any certainty. There really isn't. And so it's a myth. So when things become very uncertain, it brings out in us, and I think it really showed something in all of us. There's a lot of fear, and it's coming out. The fear is constantly coming out in us because of the uncertainty. And so that's really what the epidemic is. It's uncertainty. And let's first explain, because the first thing I want you to do is get command of you. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about how your mind is wired, because it's very important to talk about this. Your mind is not wired for happy. Your brain is not really wired in any way for even success. Your brain's wired for safety. You have outgrown your brain. So think about what I'm asking you. Think about what I'm saying here. If your brain is wired for safety, your brain is going to be on a constant alert for worst case scenarios. You're not negative. That's who and what we are. That's how our brains are wired. You know, you have to know the way the computer's wired. Your brain, you kind of outlived. And you have to understand that because your brain is wired for safety, you're going to constantly hear, first of all, worst case scenarios. Because your brain's wired for safety. Be alert. There's not enough food. The world's coming to an end. They're hunting you. That's the way you're wired. And so your brain will be Velcro for bad. Your brain will be Velcro for panic. And what you want to do is recognize that and know that our brains are extremely plastic. Our brains shape and reshape all the time. They shape and reshape all the time. I'm on a cruise with my sister and her two kids, my two kids this summer. And her son, Connor, said this 500 times, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, 500 times a day. I about lost my mind. 2 weeks after that cruise, I'm going, for sure, for sure, for sure. Your brain absorbs as plastic. So it's going to absorb all the warning signs. Something's happening. Something's going on. So let's talk about what's a good thing right now. Anxiety. Anxiety as a leader, anxiety as a CEO, anxiety as a human being, anxiety as a mother, anxiety as a father. Anxiety is a good thing. Anxiety is this message you're sending to your brain. Stay alert. Pay attention. Anxiety means wash your hands a lot. Anxiety says we should stay in cash right now. Anxiety says keep social distancing. Anxiety is a wonderful, wonderful thing right now. You need anxiety. You do not need panic. Panic will make you hoard, stampede, believe in scarcity. You do not need panic. And our minds will always remember worst case scenarios. Since I've been to Alabama, I don't remember how many times we beat Auburn. I know they beat us 3 times. I don't forget that. And there's another little guy up in Tuscaloosa, won't forget that either. Your brain remembers worst case scenarios. It looks for worst case scenarios. And it will drive us into panic. So you want to talk to yourself. Can I roll back the curtain and show you what we do at Tide Country? You want to talk to you. And you don't want to allow anxiety to be rehearsed till it becomes panic. You want to keep talking to you. Anxiety, that's you. I expected you to come. Anxiety, you're there to help me. It's to keep me safe. Anxiety, that's something that I have to have that will make me be able to focus right here. Don't get upset about having anxiety. It's your friend is supposed to help you. Panic is something totally different. And know what controls what we feel is not events. It's how we talk to ourselves about events. Let me say that one again. What controls what we feel is not what is happening. It's how we talk to ourselves about what's happening. That's an important point. I'm going to teach you how to talk to you about what's happening. So for the door handle to be on your side of the door, and it is. See, what we're feeling is we're feeling like we've lost locus of control. For the door handle to be on your side of the door, you first have to gain locus of control of you by talking to you. By talking to you. And you have to say these things to you. Anxiety is good. I need anxiety. Panic, it will immobilize you. I used to work for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm standing aside and I'm getting ready to speak to the team. And this little guy comes up. I'm standing with Dave Campo, looks like a little leprechaun. And a guy comes up to me, Hambrick, who's running back. Emma Smith's backup. And he goes, Doc, I didn't like listening to you before, but I love listening to you now. I go, yeah, why you love listening to me now? He said, Emmett Smith told me that I love listening to you. I'm thinking, well, I could have used him back in the day, back when I was single and liked to mingle. So I walk over to Emmett. I go, Emmett, what are you doing? He's your backup. He said, well, I want him to get better. I go, but he's your backup. He goes, what are you saying? I go, you compete with him. He goes, I don't compete, I create. I don't believe in scarcity, I believe in abundance. Grab your pen. Grab your pen. Write this down. Like if you have a whiteboard, write on a piece of paper. Write this down. Ready? I want you to write this. I don't believe in scarcity. I believe in abundance. Watch TV enough now, you go, scarcity. The world's coming to an end. No, I believe in abundance. I believe in more. I believe the more's coming. I don't think this is the end of anything. You need anxiety. You don't need panic. It's very important how you talk to you here, because events don't cause what you feel. How you talk to you about the events does. Events never cause how you feel, but we don't realize how we've got ongoing dialogue going with ourselves. So the first thing, sometimes I get thoughts as I'm talking, I'm writing them down. First thing you have to do is think about what you think about. Pay attention to you. Pay attention to things that you're saying to you. Pay attention to them. Think about what you think about. Ask yourself a question. What am I saying to me? And then on purpose, talk different, talk constructive. Do it Alabama style. Here's how I'm going to talk to me. This guy's in a wheelchair, and someone walks up to him. Think about how this guy's thinking. Think about how you're thinking. He says, you know what? You probably hate that wheelchair. That wheelchair confines you. He said, confines me. This wheelchair gives me freedom. Confines me. He said, because of this wheelchair, I'm able to go anywhere I want to go. I love this wheelchair. Have you ever thought that there's only one thing that could be holding you down right now? It's how you're thinking. Change the way that you think. Anxiety, don't get upset about being upset. Panic, that's another ball game. That's a whole other ball game. I need anxiety. It helps me focus. Next, everybody's experiencing a loss. Some people in their jobs, a loss. Some people are having a loss. My daughter's at UCLA. My daughter had a scholarship to Alabama, and she didn't have one to UCLA. She went to UCLA and not Alabama. That's a $240,000 difference. Would somebody please call me and book me to speak when this is over? I'm back. So, everybody has a loss. My daughter's up in her room. They just canceled her spring semester at UCLA, and last night they canceled her summer semester. A loss. My son's right over here in our theater. They just canceled his senior year. A friend of mine just called me, the sales director at New York Life, said, I just lost a friend in Indianapolis. He didn't make it through the night. There's loss going on. There's a lot of loss going on. When there's loss, we feel sad. Don't get upset about being sad. That's your body recalibrating. It's okay. You were healthy on the front end, you'll be healthy on the back end. Don't get upset about being upset. Just let it go. Go to the point like, okay, I feel sad right now. I won't continue to be sad. I don't feel good right now. Don't get upset about being upset. Do not ruminate in it. But it's okay. You're human. If you aren't a little bit nuts right now, you're probably nutty. If you're not crazy right now, you're probably crazy. This is tough. And I want to tell you now, let's talk about this. I'm getting these thoughts as I talk. Let me tell you what to do as we go through this. Let's talk about first steps of leadership. Don't y'all get mad at me now, but I did speak to Florida State the night before they played Auburn at national championship. Don't you get mad at me. I didn't know who they were going to play. And our quarterback's name was Jameis Winston from right there in Alabama. And I had Jameis say this before every play. We got down by a number of points in that game. Are you strong? They said back, I'm strong if you're strong. I'm strong then. Threw a pass. We won a game, hit Kelvin Benjamin at the end of the game, keeping each other strong. Incidentally, 2 weeks after that game, he walked into a supermarket in Tallahassee and stole crab legs. And the number one tweet in the country was he looked at them crab legs and says, are you stolen? They said, we're stolen if you steal me. Well, you're stolen then. I was talking to his backup at Florida State recently. I go, you know, Jameis didn't do too good down the Buccaneers. Have you talked to him recently? He goes, no. I go, what would you tell him? I would tell him to be a good friend to himself. Write this down. I'm writing as I speak to you. I'm going to be a good friend to me. I'm going to be a good friend to me. You know, self-pity is one thing. Self-compassion is something very different. I want you to lead you before you go lead your company and your clients. So let me tell you what being a good friend to you is. I was talking to my kids Sunday during our lesson here on our Sunday lesson, and I told them about when David was in Ziklag. And David was in Ziklag, and all the men turned on him, and he had nobody. The Amalekites came in and took the women and children. And there was two great points to that story. Number one, they were going to stone him. The men turned on him. So he encouraged himself. And what I also like about that story is he went back and got back from the Amalekites everything that was taken from him. I told my kids, sometimes the enemy comes and attacks your camp. Encourage yourself and go fight and get back what belongs to you. A good friend means encourage you here. Don't judge, trust. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will have problems of its own. Give me this day my daily bread. Be a good friend to you. Have some compassion for you. Have some compassion for what you're going through. You're going through it too. Hello. You're going through it too. Come on. So start having it. What's the problem with being a good friend to you? So here's what I want you to do with you. Talk to you. Trust. I teach the Crimson Tide to talk to them. Talk to you. I want you to say what I'm going to teach you next. I went to Pittsburgh Steelers. Bill Cowher's our coach. Bill calls me and said, we got a player blew his knee out. I want you to come talk to him. His name's Chad Scott. Here's the first thing I want you to do to be a good friend to you. I said, Chad, how you doing with that knee? He goes, I'm chopping down trees. I'm drinking battery acid. I'm chopping. Keep going. Keep encouraging you. Be David and Ziglag. Keep chopping. Encourage you to keep moving. This woman during the earthquakes in San Francisco, she was going up top an escalator. She was scared. She froze. And everybody was hitting into her back. They said, you got to get out of the way. You got to keep moving. She said, I'm too afraid. They said, be afraid and move anyway. Keep going. Encourage you. Encourage. Be a good friend to you. Let's lead you before you lead anybody else. And let's keep chopping. Look, don't act like everybody's not having some fear here. Muhammad Ali was on an airplane once, and the flight attendant said, Mr. Ali, put on your seatbelt. He says, Superman don't need no seatbelt. She says, Superman don't need no plane. Put on your seatbelt. You're not Superwoman. You're not Superman. We're all going through something. But how can I get you if I say to you, hey, Montgomery County, give me $1,000. You can't give it to me if you don't have it. How can you have compassion for the world if you don't have it for you? How can you do it? And so it comes down to I've got to have first compassion to me. Keep chopping. Everybody's got some fears. Mike Singletary was a middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears in the years they were monsters of the Midway. Mike Singletary was afraid of nothing on the field. They said they called him eyes because of these wild eyes. Yet Mike Singletary slept with the lights on. He was afraid of the dark. We're all afraid. So first thing, keep chopping. Keep chopping. Be a good friend to you. Learn how to talk to you. Trust. But I'm going to give you what I'm going to call the 3 P's. I'm going to give you what I'm going to call the 3 P's of resiliency. Let's define resiliency. When I fall, who I become will catch me. We're not going to return to where we were before. We're going to return to a better place. I had a heart issue. June 3rd, 2017. I went to Cleveland Clinic. I don't want to return to where I was. I want to return to a place I've never been before. I want to return to a place where I can see my kids grow. I don't want to go back to where I was before this. I want to go to a spot I've never been. There is research by Holly Haverson at Columbia. When you have different phrases on the walls and you read them all the time, they get in your head. Neurons that fire together, wire together. I have a couple. Here's one. When I fall, who I become will catch me. Montgomery County, when we come back, we've been through it before. We've been through challenges before. The whole birthplace of the civil rights came up out of us. We've been there before. We're going to become better and more. When I fall, who I become will catch me. Let me give you another phrase. It comes from Winston Churchill. Fear is a response. Courage is a choice. I teach this all the time to the tide. Quit worrying about your feelings. Your feelings right now got to be going crazy, going goofy. Take a hold of your choices. I'm going to choose to be brave. And let me tell you a phrase that goes with Andrew Jackson, but probably more with Nick Saban. Ready? I got this on my wall. I was born for the storm. The calm doesn't suit me. I was born for the storm. Calm doesn't suit me. So real resiliency, I want to teach you the 3 P's. The first, this isn't personal. I'm in Detroit. Michigan State's trying to get me to come in and work with a football team. I'm flying home out of Detroit. This is all happening. I see 3 months of my calendar evaporating, and I love speaking. It's not something I like doing. It's something I feel like God put in me. I just love doing it. And I just watched in about an hour or two, like 3 months of my calendar where I work hard to get, and you know what I'm talking about. You've seen the same thing happen to some of your business, if not a lot of it. And I'm taking it personal. It's not personal. This is an I thing. This is a we thing. This isn't a you thing. This is a us thing. So I'm getting on a plane and I'm taking it personal. It's not personal. And I'm getting on this plane. There's a guy in front of me in a wheelchair, a young fella. He's got his girlfriend or his wife with him, and he's got a scar all the way down his neck. And I realized he'd been hit by a car or something, and he had an accident, and he's a quadriplegic. I don't think events cause what you feel. I think how you talk to you about the events does. I start using this phrase, and I'm going to use it again a little bit later. Ready? If you get into a rough self-pity personal spot, say this: this is hard compared to what? Compared to what? This is hard compared to what? London was bombed 59 straight days during World War II. Compared to what? This is really hard compared to what? Say that to you all the time. Compared to what? Next. This is not pervasive. This is not in all parts of your life. Can I tell you what's extremely contagious? Misery. Misery. You are all now hunkered down with your families. If you're miserable, it's going to catch. Look, let me tell you the difference between Alabama and New York City, because there's distinct differences. I was speaking up in New York, and this guy came into my talk and says, you know, I asked my wife of 29 years, honey, would you marry me again? She looked at him and said, no way. If you're in New York and you ask somebody a question, you will get the answer, and it'll be very direct. Don't ask unless you want the answer. Now, if you're in Montgomery, Alabama, if you are in Huntsville, Enterprise, Muscle Shoals, Florence, and you asked your wife, honey, would you marry me again? She would look right at you and go, well, bless your heart. That also means no way. I'm just educating you. The guy from New York said, I'm glad my wife said it. I thought it was my own personal misery. It's catching. There's parts of your life, like I just had my kids in a room with me. And I'm going, my daughter goes to UCLA. My son is going off to college. He got a scholarship. He's going to DePaul in Chicago. I looked at them last night and I go, I might never have a time again where I'm going to have you with me every day. And don't mind me, but I'm going to soak it up. I'm going to suck it up. Be stubborn. Be Nick Saban stubborn. And go, look, I am going to enjoy parts of my life. Be stubborn. I don't know if he's stubborn about that part. There's other parts he's stubborn. Okay. Incidentally, I say this when I speak all the time. Here's a typical day with Coach. I'm going to say, hey, Coach Saban, what you want me to say to the team? This is what I get back. How in the blank do I know? If I knew what the blank to say, I would have said it. Roll Tide. So, pervasive, meaning it doesn't go into all parts of my life. There's parts of my life I'm going to demand to enjoy right now. What I was talking about, coach, was the demanding part, not the enjoyment part. There's parts I'm going to demand right now. My time with my family, a walk. Your money's not your wealth. You say, well, thank goodness, because I've been watching it say goodbye. Your time is. Can I tell you all how you spell the word love? T-I-M-E. Go love people up. And it is not permanent. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say on the TV. I don't care what they say. This isn't permanent. Unemployment is this number. For now, that's not permanent. My company's in this kind of shape. You get the counterpunch. It isn't permanent. It isn't permanent. None of this is permanent. It's a for now. This is a comma in the story of your life. It's not even a period. The 3 P's, it's not personal. It's happening to all of us. Come on now, I'm talking to Alabama. You understand all of us. Turn up. It is not pervasive. Enjoy your life. Let people see that you enjoy your life. Make a decision. This woman goes to her husband, honey, what would you do if I hit on the lottery? He said, I'd take my half and I'd leave. She said, that's what I thought. Here's your $10. Keep in touch. Enjoy. Don't be so miserable. My mom always said, make them want more when you leave. And this is not permanent. Every time I speak the Crimson Tide, especially after you folk from Auburn whooped us last year, I tell them this story. 2 guys got in a fist fight when I was in 6th grade. I was looking forward to this fight. I was bored in school. 4th grade was the toughest 3 years of my life. One boy hit another, but it was quick. He went down over the hill. 1 hit. I thought, daggone it, that was a quick fight. He came up over the hill with a tree branch in his hand. He made an announcement, this fight ain't over yet. I don't care what they tell you. We still got fight in us. Them numbers, your company, relationships, it ain't over yet. We get the counterpunch. So get control of you. Talk to you. Be a good friend to you. Now, next. Do you know that your company has a culture and you set it? Do you know your company needs leadership and you are it? We all have a culture. It means this is who and what we are. This is who and what we are. And we need a culture. It's our identity. When I go and work with teams, you work with culture. We all have one. You have one. You have an identity. And do you realize that your identity comes out during these times? Do you mind if I tell you what the identity is of most people in the world? Because once you get an identity, you go find the information to make sure you reinforce and validate and define your identity. It's victim. I'm a victim. Refuse to have that identity. I'm a victim. Most people are victims, but I want you from Montgomery County to say, I'm going to be exceptional. Everybody thought they were a victim except me. I walked around thinking I was blessed. I want you to be extraordinary. The ordinary person said they were a victim, but I'm extraordinary. I believe we're going to rise up and do something unbelievable through all of this. A victim. Most people are a victim because they do the comparison game. And let me explain something to you. Almost everybody in some area of their life, they think they were cheated. You're not cheated. This is a comma, and we can handle this. You're not cheated. You can handle this. I want to give you your identity for the next 30 days. Y'all ready? Grab your pen. First responder. That's your identity. You're a first responder. Write that bad boy down. You're a first responder. See, when you start seeing yourself as something, did you ever see The Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman? Once you see yourself as something. Did you ever see The Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman? Sometimes these thoughts just pop in my head. I got to write them down. In The Rain Man, look, let me explain something to you. I'll give you a warning. When I'm with Alabama folk, my brain goes to a different level because I'm the Alabama house band. When I'm with y'all from Montgomery, I got these free-flowing thoughts. You ever see The Rain Man? In The Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman played something called an idiot savant. An idiot savant can really memorize a complete phone book. An idiot savant might have an IQ of 70, but can play a whole Beethoven piece. So he acted out being an idiot savant in the movie called The Rain Man. It was him. He did a great job in it. And afterwards, Tom Cruise was in it with him. Afterwards, he was doing an interview. And they said, "You're kind of weird. You're kind of strange, Mr. Hoffman." He said, "I played that identity. I played that role so well. I played that role so well, I became it. I played that role so well, I became it." That's what identity is. Here, I'm going to do something for my Tide fans. Let me reach and grab something. Give me about 0.8 of a second. Can I tell everybody, all ball teams, I spoke to the Green Bay Packers the night before they won the Super Bowl. They beat the Steelers. You say, "Well, didn't you work for Steelers?" "Yeah, but the Packers were paying me." And we measured for our Super Bowl rings before we played the game. I told them, you got to see yourself as a champion before you play. This is what I reach for. Let me put this up on my Zoom here. That's one of my Tide rings. You know how you women say diamonds are a girl's best friend? I like them myself. But you see yourself as it before you become it. I just keep me inspired there. Before you become it, you see it. What if you saw you as a first responder? What is that? Like Dustin Hoffman saw him in The Rain Man, what if you saw you like that? A first responder. On Thanksgiving, I serve food to first responders. You don't want me cooking that food because one chef will spoil that stew. You know, hear that now, believe it later. But I serve it. I can serve with a smile. And there was a shooting in a synagogue in Pittsburgh, and I served food to the first responders that went in there. Think about the mindset if you're playing out a first responder as you lead your company, as you lead your company, as you lead your family. Think about it. Yeah, you have anxiety. You protect yourself. You got to protect your. But they went into a building, a synagogue, where somebody had a gun. And here's how you get rid of self-pity. You don't think about the self. You focus on what's in front of you. Alabama, my company, my family. You're a first responder. Why? Because you're a leader. You're a CEO. You're a first responder. You got to get out. You got to go do your thing. You got to hunt. And I don't think we hunt for little game now. We keep hunting for big game. So here's leadership. Can I talk to my leaders out there? This is a very confusing time. Let me make sense of this. Follow me. That's a Rudolph Giuliani after 9/11. That right there is a Winston Churchill during World War II, and that's you for your company. This is a confusing time. Let me make sense of this because I've got faith. We have a book came out. Whitman Publishing is bringing it out, has brought it out of Florence, Alabama. You can get it on booksamillion.com or whitmanpublishing.com. It's also on, it is also right now on amazon.com, but they're not accepting shipments, so you won't get it right away. It's called Believing is Seeing. It's really about having faith and focus. And the first chapter, an introduction, was written by Nick Saban. And it really goes into the whole concept of This is a confusing time, but watch my faith. I used to be at Miami. Nick Saban found me at the University of Miami. We are both from West Virginia. We both have our teeth. I actually have 2 implants. I think he's got all his. So that's both where we're from. Believing is seeing. Coach Saban. But at Miami, we had a player by the name of Ray Lewis. We had big goals at Miami to get no player arrested. Ray Lewis, we won 37 straight games in a row at Miami by just having a vision. But Ray Lewis was one of our leaders. He was a linebacker there. He used to go to players all the time and go, match my intensity. Match my intensity. Hey, match my faith. Match my caring. There's something right now that's very contagious out there. It is more contagious than a virus. It's called caring and connecting. And that's what you do. That's who you are. You were born for the storm. You are made for the calm. Connection and caring. And so I'm going to be a leader. This is a confusing time. Let me make sense of it. Follow me. So we've now defined leadership. I'm a first responder. I go in the mindset of focusing, caring for others. We now have gone over the whole concept of leadership. This is a confusing time. Let me make sense of it. Follow me. Match me. I was at LSU before I came to Alabama. And when I was there, we had a quarterback by the name of Mock. We won the national championship there. Coach Saban, of course, was the coach. And Mock was older. He played in the Major League Baseball. He's like 27 years old. I think he's a dentist now. But he went to the whole team and said, match me. Jimbo Fisher, not a coach at A&M, was our quarterback coach. He goes, Jimbo Fisher will challenge me. He'll be nasty. Watch the way I respond to him. Do what I do. Do what I do. That's what you say. Do what I do. Match me. Now, third step. We have 4 steps today. Talking to you. They profiled in the Wall Street Journal what we do at Alabama. And this is what Nick Saban wrote about in my book, Believing is Seeing. We have a language. As leadership, I want you to have a language. Winning has a language. Winning has a language. And the language is what you speak. The word becomes flesh. I want you to get a language for the next 30 days. I want you to get a language you're going to speak for the next 30 days. Here's the first one. Are you ready? Win. W period. I period. N period. What is important now? You have to stay in what's important now. Your mind is going to want to race to find answers. There's a problem. There is no answers. Your mind's going to want to go a month down the road, 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road. Stay present. Stay in today. What's important now? Stay in the things you have to do. Keep today urgent. Give me this day my daily bread. Tomorrow will have worries and concerns of its own. Stay in today. Your mind, oh my goodness, how am I going to handle this in a month? Handle today. Do today. Get fed your daily bread today. Now, successful people. I coach a lot of people. I coach coaches. I coach CEOs. That's what I do. I do training. And I do a lot of research and reading. Holly Haverson is at Columbia. She is in the business school, and she's done a lot of research on people that excel and do great things. And one of the factors she found is they take 15 minutes every day and map out their day before the day starts. It's called Nitty-Gritty Goals. You can have an overall goal for your company, But I teach and preach 30 to 90-day goals. And then I preach nitty-gritty goals. People who are successful have nitty-gritty goals. I want you to do this with your company. I would like you to do this with one another within your CEO exchange. I want you to write up your nitty-gritty goals. Write them up. Here's what I'm going to do today. I am working with Alabama's leadership, our players, and we're working constantly on nitty-gritty goals. We will meet tomorrow at 1:15 on nitty-gritty goals and making sure the other players have nitty-gritty goals. A study done by Deloitte. When your nitty-gritty daily goals become transparent, you have a 90% increase in performance. When I used to have my private practice, you say, you're only sick as your secrets. If I can say, here's what I'm going to do today, and I share them with one another, and they become transparent, they illuminate, my performance goes up. I become consciously aware, number one. Number two, it just become a consciously aware. I become accountable. Accountability is always what's behind winning. And accountability is about ownership. Accountability. For example, I have a nitty-gritty goal of having a healthy body. Why? Because I have a reason for the healthy body. They're in the other room, Jared and Claire, my two kids. I want to see them grow up. I want to be part of their lives. So that's my overall goal. Healthy company, a healthy bottom line, a healthy family. But I'll never get there if I don't have nitty-gritty daily goals. This talk is called How to Swim a Great Race, a Good Race, a Strong Race in Choppy Waters. And we don't need a sailor on calm waters. So nitty-gritty goals. So what's my nitty-gritty goal? Healthy body is my overall goal. My daily goals. Number one, they told me at Cleveland Clinic, if I run what they call HIIT training, I'll live a long time. I want to live a long time. So there's a hill 10 minutes away. I got up this morning, I jog over the hill, I run up and down it for 40 minutes, and I come home. That's my nitty-gritty goals. I measure it. I have a Garmin watch. I drive my heart rate up to 145, 150 up the hill. I drop it down again. They said, do that, you'll live a long time. I want to live a long time. You know, when I get called home, I get called home. But in the meantime, I want to live while I'm alive. And I don't want to have that monkey on my back. Nitty-gritty goals. Another nitty-gritty goal. I'm a vegan. They said, if you do this diet, you'll live a long time. Again, Jared and Claire. So I map out my food. I send it to a dietitian. The next thing I'm going to teach you is I meditate. There's something your companies know about called OKRs, Objectives with Key Results. You can Google them. I do it different in my consulting. I called Goals and Measurable Activities. And we have to measure. Write out what you're going to do this day and put it on a piece of paper. It's your nitty-gritty goals. Don't have a bunch of them. Less arrows, more wood. Stay on them. It's your daily nitty-gritty goal. I just did a big national call for Edward Jones. Nitty-gritty goal. Here's how many clients I'm going to speak to today. Nitty-gritty goal. My internal, my support. Here's how many people they're going to follow up with today. Nitty-gritty goal, and James 4:2. You have not because you ask not. Here's where I'm going to ask for business today. Nitty-gritty goals. Your objectives and your key results. But Kevin Elko, Alabama style, my goals and my measurable activities. Can I measure my run and my heart? Yeah, I measure it. Measure means it's important. Can I measure my diet? Yeah, here's what I'm going to take in today. Here's where I'm with fats, here's with sugar, here's where I'm with cholesterol. I know it's where I am. I want to pay attention. I meditate 3 times a day. We can measure that. Nitty-gritty goals, WIN. What's important now? What's important now? Let's get to the next one. Change the changeable. Accept the unchangeable. Remove the unacceptable. What can you change now? What can you change? Your actions, your attitude. Your faith. That's what you can change. In our new book, Believing is Seeing, I gave a story about Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph was running a race and won 3 gold medals in the Olympics. Wilma Rudolph had scarlet fever when she was a child. She was paralyzed on her left leg. The experts and doctors said, you'll never walk again. Her mother said, yes, you will. Took the brace off at 7 years old, started to walk because her mother said, yes, you will. She went to her mother and said, can I run a race when she was 13? The doctors and experts says, you can't run a race. Her mother said, yes, you will. She ran the race. Last place. She won 3 gold medals. Won 3 gold medals in Olympics. How'd you do this? Said, everyone said, the experts and doctors said I would never walk in. My mother said I would. I decided to believe my mother. Change the changeable. Accept the unchangeable. Here comes the Elko oldie but goodie. There's a little town called Enterprise, Alabama. Come on. And they're growing cotton. And the boll weevil comes in and eats all the cotton. Everybody pay attention. The boll weevil has hit Alabama again. That little pesky bug's been in our state again. Takes all the cotton. Somebody says, brand new crop called the peanut. Let's plant it. Enterprise becomes wealthy from the peanut. You know what y'all are right now? A bunch of peanut farmers. You know what you got to do right now? Go find a peanut. You can rise up right here. In the middle of town in Enterprise is a big statue of a bug. There's a caption underneath it. Thank you, Mr. Boll Weevil, for the role you play in our prosperity. Now, I was talking to Sheriff's daughter and said every once in a while they get drunk and steal, but they bring it back when they're sober. We're not going to judge. They're good people. We say this in Tuscaloosa all the time. So what, now what? So what, now what? So what, now what? Change the changeable. Accept the unchangeable. Reality is your friend. Remove the unacceptable. Let me show you one of the things that goes on with Nick Saban. He knows how to get miserable better than anybody I've ever seen. And that's kind of his genius, because when they jump off side and he's miserable, they know, don't do it again. They know that's his genius. He has something called the Mendoza line. Mary Mendoza was a great baseball player at shortstop. He wasn't a great hitter. And George Brett, Hall of Famer, used to get in a paper. Anybody who hit below him, he called the Mendoza line. Have a Mendoza line with how much you're going to watch crazy, nasty, negative stuff. Have a Mendoza line how much you're going to read that stuff. What else do you need to know? Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Do that. Keep social distancing and connect with people. Don't let yourself worry all day. Have boundaries with yourself. And right now, you probably shouldn't be around crazy people a lot. You're probably all stocked up. Give yourself a break and be a friend to you. The Mendoza line. Last piece, connection. One of the times, we lost to Auburn. Nick and I got together and realized our team wasn't very connected. We studied a guy named George Hallowell up at Harvard. I want you as a CEO to go out and connect. It means I see you as a person. All day long, connect, 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 connect. Connect with people all day long. Keep on doing it over and over and over. I see you as a somebody. I see you as a person. One-on-one. Because when people feel connected with you, they don't panic. They have some anxiety, but they don't panic. When people feel connected to you, they feel like they're a somebody. You're a first responder. Call them. Mary Kay said, everybody has a big sign that says, make me feel important. And look, this isn't a logical problem. It's an emotional problem, which means call and listen and listen. You could build the strength of your company right here by showing that you have a contagious thing going inside you, connection to caring. I see you as a person. My father was in the Marines and he was going to battle. He told me this before he passed away. And he went to the minister, their clergy for their unit, and he said, pray for me. I think the battle's called Pavuvu. He said, pray for me. I come back, and this minister says, my dad's name was Phil. He said, I'm not praying for you, Phil. He said, men are going to die out on that field. I won't ask God to have favor on you, but I'll go with you. I'll go with you. We're going to do this together. I'll go with you. I'll go with you through all this. I'm going to go with you. I promise you I'll go with you. Get a partnership with your people. Call them. Listen to them. If they're upset, just don't personalize or own it. Be a great listener at this time. Reflect back to them what you hear. One thing I'll tell you about Nick, he is a great, great connector. Listen to people. Connect one-on-one with them. That's what real leadership is, connection. I see you as a person. I see you as a somebody. Let me wrap this up and tell you what I told you. First of all, get command of you, of your emotions, of how you feel. Events don't cause what we feel. How we talk to ourselves about events does. Say this phrase a lot. Compared to what? This is hard. Compared to what? Get the door handle on your side of the door. Be a good friend to you. This is personal. It's not pervasive. It's not permanent. Identity. Refuse to be a victim. You live in a great country, in a great state, and have a great company. Refuse it. Be radical. And just keep on saying to yourself, my identity is I'm a first responder. And act like you are until you become. Fake it till you make it. WIN, what's important now? Nitty-Gritty Goals. Change the changeable, accept the unchangeable, remove the unacceptable. And don't connect just with your clients out there. Don't forget your people inside. Connect. I see you as somebody. I want to feel what you feel. I am my brother and my sister's keeper. Bear ye one another's burdens. Go connect with people. Now, let me pull this together. My dad passed away. We all got together, me, my mom, my two sisters, and we said, we're going to celebrate this man's life. We're going to come this next couple of days and write a great story. Well, my kids were born. Great story. I think the state of Alabama, it's a great story. People ask me, what's my favorite football year? I'll tell you my favorite football year, the year of the tornadoes, because our team, Carson Tinker and those guys, wrote a great story. This will be a story that you're going to be telling your kids. This is a story that you're going to be telling your grandkids about. Let's go write a great one. And I want to show you how we did in Tuscaloosa as I close. Tornadoes came through town, tore a house apart, and Carson Tinker was holding his fiance, our long snapper, in a closet. Threw him 200 feet, killed her. So what now? What? He led us, because Coach said, Tuscaloosa's been here for us, now we're going to be here for them. Building homes. Building homes. Carson, who lost his fiance, and his body was broken up, received the Maxwell Award before we won the national championship that year. And watch what he said. I'm not looking for blessings to come into my life. I'm looking to be a blessing in somebody's life. You're from Alabama. You're a blessing. You're a first responder. We're going to go write a great story. And every day I'm in that state, I love it. I can't wait for this to be over to get back, because I call myself the Alabama House Band, and come back in there, speak and be with you guys. Let's stick together. This isn't personal. This is a us and a we thing. Let's come together and be a blessing for us. Let's go write a great story. If I can help any of you in any way, please go to drelko.com. My guy there is named Snake. Everybody has a name like that where I'm from. Say, Snake, I need help. I'd like Dr. Elko to do this some way. I'd be happy to help you. Please look for our new book, Believing is Seeing. And in the meantime, when I get off of this call, I'm going to pray that every one of you have safety, and pray that I have gratitude for all these first responders we have in Montgomery County. Let's go be a first responder. Let's go write a great story. And please don't be mad at me, some of you, if I say, roll tide. God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for making me part of your day. Let's go write a great story and swim a great race in these choppy waters. Thank you.
Dr.
It-
Elko, thank you so much. You have been a blessing to all of us this morning. Wow, I'm just uplifted by this, and so much of what you said was exactly what I know I needed to hear this morning. I'm seeing chats from our participants that they are loving this inspiration this morning. Thanks for being a blessing to so many, and thanks for sharing that with us this morning.
Someone just said, they sent me this. Did he give me the third P? I just see in the chat. Let me give the third P for a second because I just got this a note. The third P is it's not permanent. It's not personal. It's not pervasive, and it's not permanent. That's the third one. If you have any other questions, go to drelko.com. If there's something I can help you with, and we'll respond back to you. I promise you. And let's keep each other safe, and let's keep each other in our hearts. Thanks for having me. And I guess I better say War Eagle, but don't let Nick say I said that. I just saw in a caption. You better say War Eagle. Don't let Coach Saban know I said that. God bless everyone. We love you Eagles just as much. Thank you. We'll talk to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Elko, so much. I love now knowing I have somebody named Snake that I can call. That I didn't have that before this morning.
Yeah.
I feel blessed to have that. You are a blessing to us, and the chamber. For all of you on the call, thanks for being with us. It is all about the us. So this has really lifted me up this morning. We are blessed with great leadership in our community. We can do this. And already our team here at the Chamber is looking at creative new ways that we can come out of this stronger. So we're excited by building even a stronger road ahead for our community. Thank you so much for helping us to focus on that this morning.
I love you guys. You guys have given me so much more than I can ever give you. I love your state and love being a part of it. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a great day and God bless you.
Thank you.